Good afternoon, friends. How is everybody doing today? Or should I say good morning or evening, depending on where you are. But thank you for joining us again here, folks, on another episode of Conversations with Dune and Friends. Today we have a fantastic and fabulous and wonderful friend joining us all the way from Edmonton, Alberta. We have Paula Perro joining us for the hour and a bit here, and it's going to be a lot of fun and insightful and musical conversation about music, bands, and live performances and everything in between. And so let me do a quick introduction of Paula here before we get rolling. And for the folks who are watching, let us know if you can hear us now. I have tested the sound, so it should be coming out to you loud and clear. But let me do a quick introduction here. Paula Perro's smooth yet unrestrained vocals are really threaded in with the dulcet tones and really a smoky and sultriness that rarely heard these days. Growing up in St. John's, Paula's musical foundation was built upon Celtic and country and Newfoundland folk music, and but she was also heavily influenced by her 8 older siblings who loved all the infamous classic rock bands from the 60s and 70s. However, now her biggest influence was really her mother, a singer also. And some of Paula's fondest memories consisted of songs being sung, really being sung to sleep while by her mother, while singing alongside her mom whenever she could. Now, as a child, Paula would perform at really at a drop of a hat, and going on so far as to produce and sell tickets for her own shows at the ripe age of 6, everybody. These performances were held on her home street or in her family rec room, and consisted of Perro singing to the time's most popular songs. So going with the songs of the days, singing isn't what she does at all. It is in fact who she is. And the pivotal moment that shaped her musical path came at the age of 18, when after hearing the moving and unmistakable voice of Nina Simone, the song was I Want a Little Sugar in My Bowl. And Simone's voice really haunted Perro in the most delicious way. And she was determined to find out more about this woman and this voice, this music. And so, she immersed herself in Simone's music and eventually discovered the whole plethora of musicians that like Simone and with the conviction and authenticity. It was beautiful. Now these artists encouraged Perro to critically pay attention to the 12 bars that would eventually change her life 20-some years later. Now, quoting Paula, she says, "I'm really comfortable on stage. I feel like singing and performing is something I'm always going to do. And it doesn't seem to want to leave me," she says. So from Jambone to No Fooling, some of her songs, to the more recent kind of performing at many festivals and concerts and bars, and with her latest band, Paula Perro and the Project. It's really a 9-piece powerhouse band, combine really a gutsy arrangements of esteemed covers and lend a refreshing kind of take on the tunes of blues and that fans have come to love. And while also freely mixing the classic R&B as well as her own multi-flavored originals for toe tapping and booty shaking, delivering food for your soul kind of show. And Perro's energy really is quite infectious. And she says, I'm extremely blessed to have had the opportunity to play with the incredible musicians over the years, the last 20 years, in fact. And my peeps has in the project are certainly no exceptions, and they're professional all the ways in every gig, and with them is fun and always a fun time and always leave sweaty, she says. To have had the opportunity to create music with like-minded people and to love it so much. Well, that's a blessing that she says, I would not change a damn thing. All right. So Paula's last show was January 2018. The project played through a sold-out crowd, but she thinks that it's been a long enough break. So, and the music isn't far away. So again, she wants us to share the music and spread the love. So on that note, folks, please help me in welcoming our guest today, a special guest, Paula Perro. Paula, thank you for joining us today, my friend. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine.
You're just fine.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Thank you for that lovely introduction.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. 5 o'clock somewhere. Apparently, my clients don't think so. So I have a client meeting right after this. So I'm going with water. So let's do the water thing. So,
well, I have one of those also.
There you go. You are multifaceted, my friend. Like I said in the intro, multi-talented, multifaceted. Tell us, Paula, in terms of beyond the introduction, is there a story or sort of a sentiment you want to kick us off with before we get into some of the contents and music and sharing your videos and so on? Take us back to, how did you get here?
Well, growing up with a mother who was also a singer, she really heavily influenced that part of my life. My dad was a performer. He was never on stage, but always on, if you know what I'm saying. So I kind of had the best of both worlds a little bit there. Yeah. And yeah, my mom, she was not a professional singer, but she could have been, made other decisions and choices in her life that kind of didn't lend her the opportunity of pursuing a musical career. But she definitely had an amazing voice. And yeah, my favorite memories growing up and singing were singing with my mom and having her kind of sing me to sleep. That's something that I will never forget. She kind of had a voice like Patsy Cline. So imagine being, sung to sleep by Patsy Cline. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now your video is kind of going in and out a little bit. I wonder if there's any sort of positioning of the laptop that would allow you to have more consistent internet connection. But keep that in mind while we continue here. It certainly is pretty good, but it's sort of kicking in and out a little bit. Now, some of our viewers are chiming in already, so let me share here. Quinn McKendry says, Paula Perro is this Tales of the Sordid Debauchery of On the Road? He's just wondering what kind of show this is going to be. I don't know if that's going to be the one, Quinn, but he said have fun and this should be an interesting story. And we have Janet Chloe joining us here. So welcome our viewers out there. Feel free to continue to comment along the way. I will share them with Paula and she can respond along the way. So thank you for sharing that opening kind of comments there or remarks there, Paula. Tell us, let's start with maybe the present. We'll kind of go back in the past as we sort of move along here on this time machine. But right now, tell us what you're up to these days, COVID and all. What occupies your time these days?
Well, I am currently in isolation because unfortunately, I came into contact with somebody who was positive for COVID. They were asymptomatic, but because I work in the hospital, I have to be extra careful. And so that's what's happening now. I feel fine. There are no symptoms. I feel great. This whole COVID thing has really hit my friends who do music full time hard. And I feel for each and every one of them. It's just, and it's not looking like it's coming back anytime soon. So my heart goes out to all of my friends who were slaying the stage morning, noon, and night. I feel for you guys.
Now, on that note, tell us a bit more about kind of the daytime work that you do in terms of your work with healthcare and whatnot. Congratulations on your recent, well, it's been a while now, but your graduation from, tell us a bit about that. You fit university sort of education and graduation from that into your, at that time it was very busy life of raising a family and doing a lot of performances at that time. Tell us about that journey. Why did you choose to pursue it, and kind of share that with us, the journey there a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I always knew that I wanted to sing and wanted to pursue music, but sometimes life has other plans, and we don't always get to pursue our dreams at the time that we wish. Without going into the whole 9 yards, I found myself at the age of 30 being single with 3 kids, a part-time job, and I had some transferable skills, but I knew that I could do more and be more. So I have always been interested in psychology. So at that turning point in my life, I had been doing music, not quite as serious as the following 10 years, but up until then I was doing music. And it was just that circumstance in my life that I thought, you know what, I need to be a good example for my kids. I want to show my kids that if they put their mind to something, they can be successful. And so at the age of 30, as a single parent, and I was working part-time, I went to university full-time, and 6 years later obtained a psychology degree. And I've been working as a psychometrist ever since.
Wonderful.
Psychometrist is a funny title, I guess. Not a lot of people know what it is. I didn't know I was one until I was one. But basically, I work with adult brain injury population, and we do neuropsychological assessments. We do cognitive assessments, and we do some group therapy also.
Wonderful. So that's the other side of your kind of work and your occupation, and best wishes with your continued success in that. And I know, kind of university education is not for everybody. For those who do seek it, I always I'm happy to see them at the end of that journey. So you obviously made a choice to pursue it, and did a lot of hard work and perseverance through all the life's obstacles. And congratulations on that. We have a photo later on of your celebration with that. Yeah. So tell us.
Yep. Many times I wanted to quit.
Yeah, I can imagine.
There's just a little bit of a delay there. Yeah, many times I wanted to quit. It was really, really hard. I thought, well, because I want to do it and I'm ready to do it, I can do it. So I really had to figure out quickly how to set myself up for success and how to balance the mom life with the work life, with the school life, with my music. So it was a definite balancing act, and it wasn't always easy, but I stuck to it, and I'm happy that I did.
Yeah. We're going to share with our viewers, many of whom might have heard you perform before, but some may not have. And even if they have seen it before, it would be good to share some of the live performances of you in action with the project and so on. But really, tell us a bit more. So today with COVID, obviously you're probably gearing up to kind of head towards some more live performances as soon as they're kind of opened up again. Are you working on anything right now on the music side of things, or are you taking it easy for a little bit?
I want to lie and tell you I've been practicing nonstop, but that would be a lie. I haven't done anything seriously musically, since 2018. I have been asked to be a feature performer with Mark Amar. Blessings to Mark. Yep. Mark Amar, Mama, and have been a guest for some shows, but I haven't been doing anything really seriously with music. But I did start getting that twinge just before the COVID came, and I was talking to the guys on the project saying, hey, I think it might be time. And they all said, yeah, it's time. And then a global pandemic happened and kiboshed that.
Yeah. So this could very well be that turning point where we see and hear more of you going forward as things open up, because you kind of invested in that whole education thing, and secured a good, reliable job that is a good fit and all of that. So maybe now you can turn some of your spare time into music again. You kind of stabilize one area of your life, right?
Absolutely. And the
Well,
kids are older now, and they don't need me quite as much. So it's actually the perfect time in my life to get back to what I love, and that's the music. So that's the hope. So fingers crossed that that all works out.
there you go. Wonderful. Well, this might be a great time for us to share some videos. I'm going to share the first video. Tell us about this first video. I believe it is the 5 o'clock, like you already referenced earlier. 5 o'clock. Tell us about 5 o'clock before I cue it up here.
Sure. This show that you're about to see video from was our CD release show at Festival Place out in Sherwood Park. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful venue. It was an amazing night. I have so many people to thank for that night. You never do this alone. Anything in this industry, anything that you do, there is a pile of people behind you. You just can't do it on your own. So fortunately, I had a bunch of great friends and a bunch of great support to kick this show off, and it will forever go down as a definite highlight of my life, of my musical career, if you'd like to put it that way. The song was written by Gerald Mollering and myself, and the impetus behind the song was I was kind of tired of, it's a boys' game, it's the boys' night out, and I thought, you know what, I think it's time for a girls' night out tune. And what I love about this song is friends who have it and who have downloaded or have the CD say that it's the girls say that it's sometimes their getting ready to go out tune, and that makes me happy.
There you go. So could be a bit of an anthem for some some purposes in some circles. I see a comment here from our mutual friend Stephen Blackwell. He says, great song. Tell him about your drumming debut, the amazing Paula. Well, let's roll the clip. Remind me to tell our viewers our experience with the belt, the belt story. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but remind me to tell the belt. Yeah. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and click play. Let me know if you hear the sound, Paula.
It's Friday, 5 o'clock, tick-tock, the countdown's on. I'm gonna call my ladies up, gonna funk it all night long. The hair right, shirts tight, skirts past the knees. The weekend's here, yeah, we're gonna do it how we please. We got a 9 to 5, the boss man, he don't play. But then we punch on our stall, feeling frisky. The girls swayed, plans made, burn the midnight sun. The weekend's here, yeah, we're gonna go out and get our sun. We work real hard all week, now it's our time to play. When I'm saving ourselves for a rainy day, it's the girls' night out. It's the girls' night out. We wanna groove all night, leave it all out on the floor. Get down, get dirty, girl, and show 'em what you're for. A clean smile, a cute style, you have me at hello. The weekend's here, yeah, let your head down, let it go. We work real hard all week, now it's our time to play. We're not saving ourselves for a rainy day. It's the girls' night out. It's the girls' night out. tick-tock, the countdown's on. I'm gonna call my ladies up, gonna funk it all night long. The hair right, the shirts tight, skirts past the knees. The weekend's here, yeah, yeah, we're gonna do it how we please. We work real hard all week, now it's all time to play. When I'm saving ourselves for a rainy day, it's the girls' night out. It's the girls' night out. Oh, oh, it's the girls' night out. It's the girls' night out.
Fantastic, fantastic. That was a lot of fun. Hey? You know, I was there with my wife and kids. They don't usually go out to my kind of music events or whatever, but that was one of the few times that they actually did join me. So that was a lot of fun. Sorry, Paula, go ahead. Could you repeat that?
They get to hang out and see. Oh, sure. I said my kids were also there that evening, and it was really special because there's not a lot of shows that the kids can come to. Well, they can now because they're all adults. But back then, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for them to see their mom play. So I tried to embarrass them as much as I could that night.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we have some great photos.
And hopefully I did that.
Yeah, we have some great photos of that night as well as other performances and whatnot. So tell us, what is it like to play with like 9-piece band or 10-piece that evening? Obviously, quite a different experience than 3 or 4 people in the band, right?
So as everybody knows, bands make up and break up, and they change and they evolve. And so the last band that I played with was a different version of the band that you just saw. But those guys I love to pieces. And I definitely have been spoiled because once you have a horn section and a Hammond and background vocals, you don't want to do any other show. You don't want to do a duo. You don't want to do a 4-piece. You want to do the big show every time because it's just so full. It's just so fun. And the music that we get to make, it's just, I'm spoiled and I miss it a lot.
There you go. And now with the turning point we spoke about earlier, you're going to be back into it and building it again and taking us for another set of rise here on your next set of projects.
That's the hope.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. Well, thank you for sharing that music with us. And tell us, what is it like to kind of work during the day in the medical field and in the healthcare field, and then in evening wanting to devote more time to music? Tell us the kind of the juggling or the transition, or how does that work for you? Any insights or comments on that?
To be honest, Dune, there really isn't a transition. I sing all the time, whether I'm humming something, singing to the radio on the way to work, singing at work, it doesn't ever stop. But the whole performing thing, it sometimes can take a lot out of you. A lot of performers, I'm just going to speak for myself, it's a bit of a vulnerable position to be up there on stage. I put a lot into the show. I really want to make sure that the audience is feeling like they're a part of it because they're absolutely a part of it. You can't have a show if you have no audience. It is a kind of interdependent, symbiotic relationship. And it's really important for me as a performer to make sure people are enjoying what's happening on stage. And I think when you get to do this is seriously my therapy. So I am saving so much money by not needing a therapist per se, because this music, you get to just release. And I am extremely nervous before I get on
Mhm.
stage.
Yeah.
Extreme
Your sound
or a large venue. I am.
your sound is kicking in and out a little bit. So if there's a way to
We're breaking up.
reorient your laptop so it would just catch a better wave of that of the Wi-Fi, that would be great.
Are we getting a better kind of sound from this?
Maybe keep on talking and we'll find out.
What's happening? Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. Looks like my computer is giving me a hard time.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll keep rolling with it here, and worst case scenario, we'll have you exit and come back in, but I don't think we're there yet. So I'm just going to ask you, when you think about, obviously you love singing and whatnot, but have you ever? I'm just curious. Have you ever gotten into playing musical instruments? Is that a thing that you pursued at some time? And say, I'm curious, where are you at with musical instruments?
So when I was a little girl, I played the violin, and I was quite proficient at it. Am I coming okay?
It's still breaking up a little bit, so I don't know.
Sorry, my video is really, really crappy right now.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's a way to...
I feel really bad.
Yeah, Wi-Fi is a funny thing. So, whatever you can do, try to stabilize your Wi-Fi. That would help. But, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show another video clip then. And while I'm showing that video clip, you can literally move around. I'll take you off of the stage here, and you can sort of move to a better spot and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's play this next video clip here for the folks to... Now, this one is called Let You Go. And I don't know if you have any comment to say about it before we hit play here, but Let You Go is the title.
So this song is a song I wrote with Bruce Hall, and I know that you had him on your show not too long ago, Brucey Bruce, a dear, dear friend of mine. He has the Electric Chair Studios, and we have had many a night in the Electric Chair Studio with many people, and it was awesome. And I used to go to Bruce's when I wanted to skip university. I would be on my way to school and go, nope, I'm going to go visit Bruce. And we'd go hang out and do things. Not those things. I should clarify. We drink and smoke and write music. Yeah. Yes, we would. And this is a song that came out of one of those. I'm not going to school today. I'm going to go hang out with Bruce because I got a little ditty in my brain and I got to get it out.
Yeah. Well, let's hit play. And like I said, while I hit play, I'll take you off camera on purpose so you can go ahead and reorganize your laptop to a better spot where you think might be better for Wi-Fi. All right?
Okay.
Can you hear the music?
I can. It's really choppy, but that's okay.
It's another song that was written by Bruce and I. This one's pretty self-explanatory, but it definitely needs the clapping. You guys are awesome.
Try moving the computer.
You used to know how you break our butter. You used to know how to shake your thing. You used to know how to love me, baby. But you don't know a goddamn thing. now, 'cause it ain't in vain. Hear me now, 'cause I'm a moving forward. Hear me now, 'cause I've shed the pain.
All right. That was it's a lot of fun there. We have some more viewers joining us here. Hi, Earl and Stephen, and of course Jill and Mike and Janet and Quinn and Brenda have commented before. Thank you for commenting, folks. Paula is having some internet issues there. She'll come right back in here. I hope to see her on there right away. So let's maybe you have some questions for her. Maybe if you can post your comments or questions in the comment section there, we'll get her to respond when she comes right back in here. So I'll tell you the story about Paula that I mentioned earlier, the belt story. I wish she was here when she's here when I tell that story, but perhaps with her internet doing what it does, I'll fill in with that story now. I remember first meeting Paula back in, I think it was 2012 or something like that. And when I met her there, I think it was at Caffrey's in the park. So there's a pub in the park there, Sherwood Park. And I remember we had this jam with fusion music, and it was Kevin McDade and Rita McDade, and she was one of a featured guests, and she was going on there, to perform. Remember, she turned to me, just general, kind of people around her, and said, "Hey, anybody have a belt I could borrow?" And what it was that she forgot to put on her belt, and her pants were just kind of a little bit loose. She must have, but anyway, and she needed a belt. So I actually took my belt off and lent it to her so that she can put it on, so she doesn't have any wardrobe malfunction or whatever while she performs the set for us. So I don't know if she remembers that, but I certainly remember it. And if she doesn't remember it, and only I remember it, I'm hoping it's just not my sort of mismemory or making it up somehow. But that's the story I remember. Now, Paula, you're back with us again, probably on the phone, or is it on laptop, it looks like. So Paula, wonderful.
Laptop. I tried to get through on my phone. It worked, but you didn't see me. So then I logged back on. Hopefully this works this time. Yeah.
So it seems to be okay. I just finished telling the belt story. So we're just gonna, yeah.
I don't remember can you refresh my memory?
See, this is juicy because you can just watch the replay and see if that story is true. I told the whole belt story.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go. So glad technology is cooperating again here, Paula. And tell us,
I totally lost everything. I see you, but I hear nothing. Oh, this is making me sad. Completely frozen. No idea what's happening. You could be talking right now. I could be talking over you. I see your beautiful face, Dune.
Just also show the enjoy the music. Is now usually if you exit and come back in, that would help the cause. But if it's frozen, you know what I'm going to do?
You're back.
I'm going to try this. Give me a second. Am I back now? Am I okay?
Yes, things are good. I'm really sorry. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm home alone. I'm home alone. I refreshed the modem. I didn't go on any porn sites today. We're good.
You know, we, as much as we like to try and prepare for everything, we're still at the mercy of so many technical components that may go sideways on us. So no worries, no worries. For every minute that we miss of having you on screen, you have to extend the interview by that many minutes. So hopefully you don't have a meeting with this, Paula. We're going to extend this. We're going to keep yakking so the audience having you, and we'll sign off then.
We're good.
All right. So we have some more comments here. Let me just go ahead and display it. I think, Stephen Blackwell says, you and Rita at the Windspear are fantastic. Your outfits were incredibly beautiful, let alone your knockout vocals. Anyway.
You know what? We should talk about that show. My dear buddy, actually today is our Facebook anniversary. My dear friend, Dan Sinizak, who has Danland Studios out there in Sherwood Park. He was organizing a show, and himself, Rita, and myself, and an amazing group of musicians played the Windspear Mother's Day a few years ago. And honestly, I just was caught up in the moment and being on that stage that parts of that show I actually don't remember at all. So I really want a do-over. I want to do the Windspear again.
There you go. Well, wonderful. I think you have put your bat signal out there and see who will respond to that signal there. We have others who chimed in here, and Earl says you rock, awesome blues, and continue to appreciate your blues here, my friend. And so yeah, tell us in terms of was there an interesting story in all the gigging that you did, all the shows that you did? Tell us the highlight, and then tell us the low light. Do you have two stories in mind that you can tell us? And then I'm going to bring up some photos, and you're going to share stories behind those photos. But before we go to the photos, I just want to stretch your thinking a bit and say, is there a highlight that says this was awesome? And then tell us the story about what made it so awesome. And then tell us maybe a low light in your musical career. It could be all the way back to 6 years old, whatever. Does that make sense, what I'm asking?
Yeah, it's hard to think of one. There's been many, but I'm gonna give you one that was both a highlight and a dim light at the same time. Right. Edmonton Blues Society earlier in my career were huge supports of my music, and they loved the band that I was in at the time, which was Newfoundland. And we really had a great time, and they hired us for a gig at Queen Alexandra Hall. And we had just hired a new drummer at the time. His name was Todd, and we were doing this was our first gig with him. And actually that night it was packed. Like I think they oversold the tickets, not on purpose. I think it's just earlier in the day, they weren't as organized. And we had a full packed house. It was hot in there, and we were giving it our all. We in fact set off the fire alarm that night, so some very handsome firemen got to come to the show.
Was that a highlight, I presume?
Which is great. But during that, yeah, that was part of the highlight. There's a few highlights. Just the vibe and the energy in that room that night was visceral. You could feel it. So we were doing a James Brown tune called Cold Sweat. We do a version called by the Bone Shakers. We kind of put our own slant on it. But anyway, we're doing that song. And I don't mind sharing this. The brassiere that I was wearing was a front loader, much like the one I'm wearing today. And part of the lyric is, I break out. And then it goes, duh, 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 in a cold sweat. And as soon as I said, I break out, poof, my bra broke out. It like snapped open. Oh no. And I was wearing a form-fitted shirt. So immediately I had 4 breasts and had to turn around. And us ladies, we can get our bra done up in the dark, one hand behind our back, right? So I was like, I'll just turn around. We'll just do this up and nobody will know the better. That wasn't happening. I tried. I looked at the guitar player and I said, one more, go again, because I'm having issues. Wardrobe, malfunction. And finally, by the third go around for his solo, I thought, oh shit, I can't. So I unzipped right in front of the drummer. First gig we ever played together. He kind of was wide-eyed. I just put the girls back in, did it up, turned around, and was ready for the next downbeat.
See, you missed, while you were away with the internet issue for a couple of minutes, you missed a whole story about the belt, but that could have ended up in a similar way had I not lent you the belt, my friend. Was it also
a wardrobe malfunction? Yeah?
No, it didn't happen, but you forgot your belt, and so you asked, somebody has a belt I can borrow, and I actually took out my belt and lent it to you.
I remember,
do you remember that
now. That's right. Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. So funny. I'm glad that happened, because without the belt, we might have had another story on the other side there to tell.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. No one needs to see that. I may have wearing pants right now.
You are in the COVID uniform, are you?
Kind of. This app is ready.
Well,
this app is ready.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to show some photos in just a minute, but before we get to the photos, when I sort of get that ready here, so your music, you play some violin and whatnot, but clearly vocal is where you want to focus all your time, and you are an awesome vocalist, very distinctive, and lots of people have commented about that. Tell us, how has your voice evolved over the decades, or has it always been like that? When you were 6 years old, it was like that, or how was the evolution of your voice, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, when I was younger, I would try and mimic what I heard on the radio. But you brought up in my intro about Nina Simone.
Right.
And the first time I heard her voice, I was like, who is this voice? I had never heard that timbre, that cadence. And it stopped me in my tracks. And it was kind of after hearing her that I thought, well, who am I as a singer? What do I sound like? And so I've just been trying to find my voice, as most singers do. I do have a low register. I don't have a huge range. I can't sing harmony out of a wet paper bag. It is so difficult for me. I know where I am on the totem pole, and I know where I stand. I know what I can and can't do, and I just hope that I do what I love to do the best that I can do at any time.
That's awesome. It's wise that you come to those conclusions, because some singers, some performers, are confused for a much longer time, and then eventually in the end of the career realize that they may have swim upstream too long in some areas of their performances, right? So I'm glad to hear that you've had that identity crisis and the sort of identity clarification that happened.
Yeah, I really pick music that does something for me. I pick music that I feel. And there's a million songs out there. Nobody should be playing music that they don't love, ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, wonderful. Now I'm going to bring up some photos, and let's play this game of tell us a story, any story, as long as it's legal stories. Just kidding. And leaving the names of the innocent out of it. We're going to have you share stories that are based on the random photos that I'm going to share. Okay. So here we go.
Yeah.
The first photo is just coming up here. Tell us a story that this sort of brings back when you think of this photo. When you look at this photo, what comes to mind?
So, funny story, that photo is my one and only jazz gig that I ever did. My dear friend Ruth Blaze, who is an amazing vocalist, performer, does this gig at La Ronde, and they have something called Tylus Tuesdays, and they have jazz. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to do it, but was super duper chicken to do it. But Ruth encouraged me, and with the help of those two organ players there, but Dennis Manili was playing piano for me that night, and Kim Lasaka played bass. And it was my one and only jazz gig, and I was terrified.
Yeah. Now, Earl Labelt says here, would love to play some blues with her. And he also says, she has the same problems with Wi-Fi that I do. And we have a comment here from Janet, who says, yeah, keep your clothes on, Paula.
Try and keep your clothes on. I see what Janet says. Now listen, and I don't want to set a standard here. There's only been a few times. No, I'm just kidding. My clothes are always on. Well, not always.
So tell us about this one. Actually, give me a second. Yeah, tell us about that one. Yeah.
This one? So this one here, that's Dylan Farrell. That is my buddy and the most recent guitar player I've been working with, Dylan Farrell. He is amazing. And that was a picture from our last show at the Newcastle. We played with Dahlia Wakefield and her band Brigade, Heart Tribute Band. That's a picture from that last official show.
Yeah, well, that's great.
I love Dylan with all my heart. He's a fantastic human. He is an awesome guitar player. We have a little duo that we've worked on, and I can't say enough good things about that guy right there. Yeah, well, that's a great photo of you guys, kind of enjoying the moment there on stage. I don't know what key that is in, but he's doing some interesting finger pattern there. So there you are at some big concert. Okay, this next photo, we got to play the Edmonton Rock Festival. We opened up the show that weekend, and that was an absolute hoot. What a crowd. What an awesome place. Just the Horlac Amphitheater there to play was amazing. I got to sing background vocals for David Go-Go after our set, and Colin James closed out the night. It was a thrill, absolute thrill for me.
Yeah, this is where I say, who lets a dog out? Just kidding.
Can you hear my dog is barking outside?
Yes, I can. Our viewers can, I'm sure. Yeah. No, it's cool.
I'm sorry. I could close my window.
No. This is fine. This is part of the ambience. This
is life, people. This is life. I'm not wearing pants. I'm drinking, and my dog is barking. Hallelujah! Cheers.
It's all good. You're being just. This is the up close and personal with Paula Perro, and no filters.
Hey, listen, what you see is what you get.
There you go. So
no.
I must say this photo here. I don't know if you take this as a compliment, or if you don't, I apologize. It's meant to be a compliment. This, I don't know. You look very teenage, almost. What is it like? What are those young singers that sing, teeny bopper songs? I don't know. Well, Taylor Swift is getting, but anyway, that kind of vibe, right? Almost reminds me of Debbie Gibson from the 80s.
Hey, listen, Dune, I will take anything that says you look nice and young and hip there. I'll take that. That's never a bad thing.
Definitely hip. And
my dogs are going crazy. Perhaps there's an invader about to come into my house because they're going nuts. But
well, if they're coming in, they're going to be seen by all of us. But that's still bad for you. So we don't want that. So hopefully the dog is just having fun. So tell us about any story behind this one. Oh, I know who this is. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's my girl, Geneva Magnus. I love her to bits. Her and her music have been a staple for me. What an incredible performer. What an incredible voice. What an incredible human being. And she's off. We chat every now and then, we message each other. She's a huge support. She's the most humble celebrity, famous musician I have ever met in my life. And I cannot say enough good things about her.
Yes. And I believe our
This was at Festival Place.
yeah, I believe our mutual friend, the wonderful and fantastic Rita McDade also loved Jennifer as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, Rita loves Geneva too. I love powerhouse female singers, and you don't really get much more powerful than that lady right there. She is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Now, Stephen Blackwell chimed in again and says, I remember your version of the Uptown Funk at Blues on White. Fabulous to dance to. It was terrific, he says.
Well, thank you, Stephen. Stephen's been to many shows. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we love doing that tune. Like, just a great tune. Everybody dances to it. We all get funky, and it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the other photo make you look almost like teeny, kind of very teenage kind of thing. This is a very seasoned and sophisticated photo. Tell us about this one. Beautiful, by the way. Seasoned and sophisticated.
Yes, seasoned and sophisticated. Yeah, I was going from blonde hair to dark hair, and I needed new profile pictures. Mm-hmm. My dogs are going nuts. I have to excuse myself.
You bet. I'll tell another.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I'll tell another belt story. All right, well, folks, it's Paula. If anybody who knows Paula, she's very real in her communication, in her demeanor, in her just interaction with the people that she meets and come in contact with. So this is very much a real life kind of COVID at home kind of scenario here. And it's great, actually. And let me just kind of do that. And so let me see. There's another comment that's coming in. No, I displayed that already. So feel free, folks, to continue with your comments. Your encouragement to Paula would be much appreciated. Your questions to Paula would definitely be answered in the best way possible here while we're live. And look at that. What is that?
Those are vegan treats. I'm now bribing my dogs to shut up.
There you go. The dog knows this is the opportune time. You are in a weak position, and it has the negotiating power, and it must have taken some negotiation courses. Tell us more about this photo.
These dogs have me wrapped around my finger. Yeah, so I was just transitioning from one look to another, and I needed some new photos. And this was one that came about.
Yeah.
It's just a kind of a, yeah.
Oh, cool. Very, very nice photo. Definitely a keeper for sure. And here is another keeper, my friend. I like I said earlier, education, university not for everybody. It's not for everybody, but for those who choose to pursue it, I always get really excited when they are able to realize it. So again, congratulations. Tell us more. Any story about the education or university journey that you want to share? This would be a great time to share it.
Absolutely. So when I was in university, my son Riley, my youngest son at the time, was 5 years old. He was in kindergarten, and he had a spiral fracture on his tibia. And it was very close call to needing surgery. So the doctor said, hey, if you can keep his leg immobilized for at least 3 to 4 weeks, like no movement at all, we might be able to avoid surgery. And I wanted to do that at all costs, but I was stuck with a problem. I have school, and when you're in university, you miss one day, okay, you miss 2 days, it's kind of like missing a week. Yeah. And so there was no way I could do it. So I ended up, my professors, I can't even tell you how amazing my professors were, just incredible. I ended up bringing my son with me to university for 3 weeks, and he came to every class, and my professors let him. He was never an interruption or a disruption. In fact, he is a very, very smart little boy. And at the time philosophy was my minor in university. And at the time I was taking philosophy of love and sex. And my little boy would come to university class with me and just soak it all up. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. How old was he then, roughly?
5.
How many 5-year-old can tell stories about them being at universities, taking in lectures about, right?
The philosophy of love and sex.
Love and
And he
sex.
remembers things from that time too. He was in a wheelchair at the time, and sometimes when I knew I was having a really heavy class, or a lot of lecture, not a lot of debate or a lot of back and forth, there were a bunch of nerdy guys that had a lounge upstairs and they would game. And some days they would be like, "Hey, bring him in. We'll watch him while you're in class." And so he would hang out with those guys and play video games in the student lounge. It was pretty incredible. I won't ever forget that either.
You know
You
that.
know, as a single parent and somebody who's trying to pursue music and going to school, like I said, you don't do anything on your own. I've often heard say, "How the hell did you do it?" Well, I did it because I had an enormous amount of help from my family, from my friends. Yeah, we just don't do anything on our own in this
Yeah,
life. We just don't.
it takes a village to raise a university grad.
Yes, it does, especially this one right here. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, as you know, I teach a number of university courses for a few different universities on contract. And, for those times when I experience the enthusiasm of the students or the participants or the learners, we call them these days, it's very rewarding from my side as well. So, I always look at, again, people who do want to have that experience and do go through it. It's always exciting to see the benefits that it has on their pursuit. So wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm so happy that your family and your kids in particular have had a chance to essentially participate in your university journey. Some do not do that. A lot of families might have children kind of focus on their thing and never really bring them into that kind of experience. So that's a real special thing you had there.
They really lived it with me because, I tried to, at 3:00, student cap was off, mommy cap was on, but you don't really ever let go of your student cap, right? It's always on. You're always reading in between stirring of the food or while they're in the bath, or they really saw me go through a lot. And I think they learned a lot from that, not only about perseverance and really sticking to something, but really about planning and, just hard work. And I have 3 great kids who have an incredible work ethic and they're really good humans. And I'm super lucky.
Now, how much work did you do outside of school during that period? Were you kind of doing both or?
Yeah, so I would work. So Mondays, I had a regular shift at the hospital. So Monday was the hardest day for me. I would go to school. I dropped the kids off at daycare. They had a daycare at their school. I dropped them off at 7. I would get to school by 8. I would finish class at 12:30, and my shift at the hospital started at 1:15 until 9. So Mondays were always my hell day. When people talk about hell day Mondays, I feel every bit of that. And I also worked weekends. So I would try and do the evening shifts. That way I was able to get to a gig and do my show and not have to get back to work. But many, many, many times I would work an early shift after doing a show the night before, many times.
This story reminds me of the sentiment that I often tell people. I used to hire a lot of management consultants for my company, and they come in with their MBA and whatever have you. And I know when I pursued my MBA and graduated in 2004, I say to people, what I learned in my MBA program is probably not as valuable as the fact that I've been able to juggle life and full-time work and the MBA on the side. That tells a person more about what you're looking at or who you're looking at, more so than, what subject did you study, what courses did you take, and what precise detailed knowledge did you gain. That whole journey of higher education while juggling sort of full-time work and full-time life tells me a lot about the individual, I think. So your story reminded me of that.
Does it tell you that we're stubborn AF? Because that's part of it. This school shit ain't getting over on me. I started out with something. I'm going to do it. Damn it.
There you go. Now, because English is my third language, when you say AF, I presume you mean autofocus. That's what I assume. No.
Yes.
No, something else. All right, maybe I'm not as cultured into Canadian culture as I
Go
thought
ahead,
I
people.
was.
If there's anybody watching, throw a comment in so we can tell Dune what stubborn AF stands for. Although I think he knows.
Right. So it is not autofocus. There's a few more comments here, so let me display them for you here. So let me just see here. Let's see. Where did we end up? We ended up. Oh wow! There's so many messages that sort of came in. I'm just gonna kind of go back to here. Let me see here. Wow. So I'm gonna start with here. Mr. Rael Fagnon chimed in here. He joined us and may have been there for a little while, silent for a little bit, but chimed in and they're chatting with each other. And Don Jones joined us and said hi. And
oh my God, we all love Don Jones. Every city needs a Don Jones. Okay, Don, I think that guy has been to more shows than all of us put together. He is a trooper, and we miss him. And I hope he's doing well. And Don, I love you. Mwah.
Yeah, great supporter of our musicians and the music scene here. He should get an award for that. One day we should have an award show, and Don Jones would get that award.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So here I was going to show as well that there's a few other ones I want to show before we continue, folks. Rael Fagnon kind of chimed in here and said,
Rael, another incredible musician and super duper fun guy. I wish I had half the energy that Rael has. The guy always seems to be on fire.
Yeah. He says Paula rocks and so on. And Don Jones says, I assume he's referring to you. He says, look stunning. So I'm pretty sure he's referring to you, Paula.
I don't know, Don. You were looking pretty dapper in that blazer there today, my friend.
All right. So that's cool. What else we got here? We got another one here. Earl says, Rael, she's awesome. And chimed in again with some more comments here. I don't know if you can read that. Otherwise, I can read it for you. It says,
Earl says my eyes are so captivating.
Yeah. There you go. Let's see, autofocus. Yeah. And so we got a number of people. Rael finally come to his senses. He says, let's settle down, gents. Let's settle down, right?
No. Don't settle down. Let's fucking get this shit going. Go.
Brenda chimed in and said, Paula, you're amazing. And Don says, thanks, Paula. So obviously you are loved by the community. No surprises there. I always have known that. Frankly, I have never met anybody who come from the sort of Newfoundland area, that sort of area, who isn't very sociable, who isn't very sort of down to earth and friendly. And you fit that mold to a teeth, my friend. Tell us more about this photo. Was this Halloween? I would feel bad if it wasn't. Shouldn't have said that.
Thank you, my friend. And let me just say, what's that?
Tell us about this gig.
This picture here.
Is it Halloween?
So this photo here is this picture is coming from one of our shows at the Newcastle. We had a long-standing gig there at the Newcastle, which we inherited from Big Hank and Crawdad and Willie James. Mwah, bless you, Willie. We inherited this show, and we, for many, many years, did a Halloween show at the Newcastle. And I love Halloween, and I loved this gig, and everybody got into it and had a good time. So a great memory for me every Halloween to do this show. It was awesome. It was a tradition.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Look at that. You are I don't know why, but when I see that picture,
So you'll notice that.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that you'll notice all of the pictures of me singing. I have this face. This is the singer face. I'm leaving it all on the floor, and I may have peed myself a little bit. That's the face. It happens all the time, but I'm telling you, I'm singing from my heart. I always look like I'm angry, but I'm just in the moment, I promise.
It's your singer's version of guitar face. You know, us guitar guys, we have our guitar face. This is your version of the guitar face for a vocalist.
This is it. I give good face. What can I say?
Yeah. Earl chimed in again. He says, us East Coast people are over the top, he says.
Yeah, you can't get enough. You get yourself a noof. That's all I'm saying.
I see. Good to know. Here we go.
So here's another. This is a picture from the Beaumont Blues Festival. JDK, Jeremy Dan Cornell, is the host and organizer of that, along with many people. The Beaumont Blues Festival was the very first festival that I played, and God love those people. They had us back every other year since. And I cannot say enough good things about this festival and everybody that gives their heart to it every year. I volunteer at the festival when I can. I play the festival when I can, and it has always been just a hoot. And Andrew White, usually is the sound guy for the festival. And if you know Drew, you know that you can't get much better than him mixing for you. So yeah, it's just, I love the Beaumont Blues Festival, and I love the people at the Beaumont Blues Festival. And I know they're devastated that that last festival just in June there didn't happen, but next year is going to be bigger and better, and it will be great.
Yeah. Well, remember what you said about 5 o'clock somewhere in the song that you performed for us earlier in the show here. 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's cheers. Mine is water, but because you are off work, go ahead and there you go. What is that in there? Tell us. Sociable. What's in there?
I'll drink and then tell you. So in my cup is spiced rum. I love me some rum, people. I think I was a pirate in a former life. I like rum. I drink it with water and a tiny splash of Diet Coke. I mean, just a tiny splash of Diet Coke. And if Flor de Cana is watching, they're probably not. I'm ready for a sponsorship. Flor de Cana. Okay, that's my fave.
There you go. Now Brenda chimed in and says, Beaumont Blues and Roots Festival, BBRF, is the best, she says.
It is. It's fantastic. It is just an awesome festival, and they get Canadian talent, and they support local talent, and they support new and up and coming talent, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Earl asked, hey, Paula, have you ever played in Halifax? Is his question. Have you ever played in Halifax?
I have never played. I have never played in Halifax. I've actually never been to Nova Scotia. And I actually have a brother that lives there. So maybe one day I'll get to do that.
Yeah. I was just mentioning the other day to one of my guests on an interview.
I want to talk about the picture.
Say that again.
I want to talk about the picture. I would like to talk about the picture that you just put up there.
Absolutely. We're going to bring that up in just a moment here. We got a few more pictures to go through yet. We're not done by any means. Let me see here. Earl's asked that.
Sure.
I was just going to say, I actually did play in Halifax with my speakers buddy and convention there. We sort of rotate different cities, but yeah, great city, Halifax. Don Jones here did a 3-cheer here with his, I don't know what's in those orange cups there. Sort of half orange and a little bit of room left there.
Listen, I know Don Jones very well, and I know what he's cheersing with. So we'll just leave it at that.
There you go. Let me bring the photo up. And this is a detailed photo in terms of the stuff on there. So I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to take myself out here. And so I'm going to do that. Tell us about this awesome thing that we are looking at.
So this is a photo. Sophie, in the middle there, she started this. We wanted to do an Edmonton Women of Song, all in support of breast cancer, cancer awareness, fundraising. Sophie has lived through some things herself. And so for a couple of years, we did a traditional, it was called Edmonton Women of Song. And you see Mary Thomas, Dale is in there. I'm having a hard time seeing everybody in the picture. Sophie, myself, and looks like Judy. Judy's in there. Judy helped out as one of our volunteers. A pleasure and a privilege to get to play with these ladies. We raised a lot of money over the years for breast cancer and cancer research in general. And that's something I also would like to say, you know, so many musicians in this city give back. They give back through their time and their talents. And you know what? It's easy for us. It's easy for us to give an hour of our time. It's usually more than an hour, but just to give of ourselves to help somebody else out. And so many musicians in this community do that. And it just feels really good to be a part of that and to be able to give back. Just by showing up and having some fun and singing some songs. So yeah, lovely memories.
I do want to point out, you know, this is so you. You know, when I look at this check here, it's a Canadian Cancer Society, 30-some $100, almost $4,000 there, and all this stuff. And then over here it says, Kicking Cancer's ASS.
Yeah.
That is so you.
Yeah, I swear a little. Like I said, I think I was a pirate in a former life.
Earl chimed in again here. He says, you know, Halifax is his hometown. I believe he was referring to Halifax when that comment came in. But let's continue. Tell us about this. This is your 10-piece band of that particular day there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did I count 10? Go ahead.
Yeah, there might be 10 of us there. So that was the closer of our show at Festival Place that night. Again, an incredible bunch of people, musicians, friends, supporters. Big Hank Lionheart and Dale Ladisor joined us to do background vocals for that show. And I just love this photo because, you know, everybody, I hope that everybody that was there felt like we were all in that together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, again, an awesome evening. And it's a very special evening for me and my family because that's one of the few times we actually went out to see a concert together. I'm at shows all of the time, watching the shows, playing many shows, but never do my wife and kids come. And somehow you being on the bill, somehow that evening that they came and we had a lot of fun. It was awesome.
It was more to do with Dune, let's get real, that they were allowed to be there, right? Like they're not allowed to be at the bars. Yes, but you know what, buddy? I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, talk about allowed to be there. Let me tell you a quick funny story about that. So my sons are both, 20 years old and turning 18 here. So they're university kids, right? But what happened is when they were young and I brought them to one of those festival places where I could bring them, I remember, watching Rita McDade sing a whole set of blues. And I asked my Alexander, my youngest son at that time, and I think he was probably, I don't know, about 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that years old, maybe 8 or 9. I said, what was the best song? And he referred to a song. He said, well, he likes that song where you put, put the cherry on top and, put honey in my, clearly the song was about something beyond foods, but he didn't know. So he said that was his favorite song. If he watches this, this will be the first time. I've never mentioned it. So you are the first to hear this story, my friend.
Listen, when it's good, it's good. You may not have the words at the time to verbalize or vocalize exactly, but he felt something and God love him for that.
There you go. He loved that song, something about, cherry on my, whatever, and honey and all that stuff. He said that's the song he liked the most. So is this outdoors or indoors?
This is outdoors. This is Donna Lloyd, my really good friend Donna Lloyd, who moved to Mexico. Damn her. She took this photo, and this was my very first performance at Beaumont Blues Festival.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Beaumont. And
You know what? I just saw a little pop up there from Jim Dick.
yes.
Jim Dick says he says Festival Place was a great show, and I will never forget.
Your sound went away.
From Jim Wang.
Now we're going to have.
Yeah, he sent me a message, and it was the most beautiful.
Paula, you're
Sorry,
cutting
yeah,
in
it
and
was
out.
the most beautiful message.
Right, right. Now, what I would do if I were you is just move the laptop a little bit and almost like playing the higher or lower game. You might luck out and hit the Wi-Fi a bit better from a slightly different angle. That's what I would try.
I just moved it a bit. Is that better?
So far, so good. So, again, thank you. If I would maybe ask you to repeat that for Jim's benefit, that'd be great. Tell him how awesome he was.
Absolutely. Absolutely. After the show at Festival Place that night, Jim sent me a very touching, heartfelt message. And Jim has always been a huge supporter and of me and my band and the music. And I just want Jim, if you're still on here and you're still listening, I will never forget that message that you sent me that night. I'm not sure if you remember it, but I do, and I appreciate it, buddy, with all my heart. Thank you so much.
So, Jim, if you heard that, please comment, acknowledge that you've heard that. And if you really heard that, you type in the comment, say hug, exclamation. I know Jim doesn't normally hug on social media, but we're making an exception today. Jim is going to type hug, H-U-G in uppercase, exclamation, exclamation, just so we know that he has heard your comment. Oh, look at that. Okay, Jim did hear your comment. No hug though. So he says, "Oh, I do remember that." Thanks, Paula. You're the best.
I'll squeeze Jim next time I see him extra hard.
There you go. There you go. So, Jim, you owe Paula an extra hard hug, is what she says. All right. Let's continue here and tell us about this. Oh, I recognize some more people here, and you have an attitude going on there, my friend.
Me? Yes, so this is my buddy Rosemarie. She joined my band. Up until Rosemarie coming to the band, I was the only girl, and she came aboard with her saxophone and just slayed. I love her to bits. She is an incredible human, an incredible musician, and I love her. We'll play with her any day of the week. We are at the Edmonton Rock Festival. We're on the side stage, the bars and band stage. Cam Edwards runs that, and he's a stellar guy, and I'll play for him on that stage anytime. This was 2 years ago, and that day was my birthday, actually. And Terry Evans, K97 radio DJ Terry Evans, also a huge supporter of music in this town and a good friend of mine, told the crowd while he was introducing me that it was my birthday. And so the whole of Horilac Park sang me happy birthday, and it traveled up the hill and got to me and made me teary. And that's a memory I'll never forget. And that was such a fun gig. We slayed it, if I do say so myself.
Wonderful. Hey, that's awesome. Mr. Frank Nobert chimed in. He says, "Hi, Paula. Love the brunette hairstyle."
Hey, thanks, Frankie. It needs to be done. The gray hairs are coming in hard, people. Hard.
Yeah. Well, you know me, I have kind of given up on dyeing the hair, so my hair is kind of natural now, right? So all of a sudden I went from black to... Yeah.
You totally went natural, and good on you. I am not.
We'll see. One of these days, maybe I'll try on blonde. They do say that blonde do have more fun, so I'm going to give that a try one of these days. Blonde is not that far from platinum gray the way I have it right now.
That's bullshit. You have as much fun as you make, no matter what color your hair is.
There you go. Well, hey, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Let's go to the next photo here. So I'm going to cue up the photo again here, and tell us about this photo. Let me go get out of the way here, and tell us about this photo.
Hey, those are my babies. So next to me is my son Reese. Reese is 24. And then next to Reese is my my baby boy Riley. He's the kid that broke his leg there and came to university with me. Riley's 18, and that's my gorgeous daughter Brooke next to him, and she is 19. And my daughter Brooke would kill me for saying this, but she has an amazing voice. But she won't sing, not in front of anybody, not in front of anybody. She'll only sing by herself in the shower. And I only know she has an amazing voice because I have eavesdropped and I've heard her. And my dream is that one day my daughter and I will sing on stage together.
There you go. And now it's recorded. That sentiment now has been recorded on the Internet of Things and for everybody to hear, including her. So, Linda, a friend, Linda also chimed in here. She says, Paula, you are gorgeous with many hair color and superb singer, she says.
Oh, thank you, Linda, you sweetheart. Checks in the mail.
There you go. Checks in the mail. So tell us, now I think this is let me see, we got maybe one more photo behind this, or no, actually that was the last photo. So tell us, I'm going to kind of do this mode here. Give me a second. I'm going to put this on like this. I'm going to bring myself back in here, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. So tell us, as you think about your musical journey, as well as your educational journey, and doing your daytime work for, healthcare services and whatnot, any insights or lessons that you've learned that you want to share with our viewers today? Any sort of pearls of wisdom from Paula Perro today?
All I can say is that, it's about being authentic. People sometimes say, well, why do you sing the blues? Why do you love the blues so much? And I really think it's because it's real. You can't fake it. And there's a lot of fake things in this world. I'm wearing a lot of makeup, so this is fake. Mm-hmm. This hair color, that came out of a bottle. That's fake. Mm-hmm. But my love for the music, my love for my fellow friends and musicians, my genuine attitude to just really, I don't want to leave anything unsaid, leave it all on the stage when we get out there. It's really just about being true and doing what you love. And I think if you are able to do what you love, then that comes across as authentic, as genuine. And so whatever you're doing, if you're somebody right now who wants to be playing music, you're just not sure, just do it. You're not going to ever find out unless you just go for it. Many, many times I told myself, you can't do this. You shouldn't be doing this. Just go to the shows and watch other people do this. Mm-hmm. But, I just didn't ignore that little voice inside of me that just really wanted, ever since I was a little girl, to do this. And so I'm just eternally grateful to everybody who has been on stage with me, to everybody that's taken the time to just spend some time with me and talk music with me or give me advice. I feel super grateful, and I will never, ever take that for granted.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Great sentiments. So for our viewers out there, as we are wrapping this up rapidly here, tell us if you have any comments. Do not leave it unsaid, as Paula says. So here's a live window. Any comments that you want to forward to Paula, let them stream in right now so we can see it right on live here. And perhaps Paula will be able to absorb it at the very least and perhaps respond to it as well. So folks, for those who are watching live right now, feel free to add your comments here before we wrap this up. And again, for those who are...
And Dune, while that's happening, Dune, I just want to say thank you for reaching out to me and asking me to be on the Nooner with the Dooner. I think that's how you should change it.
Dooner. I've been called everything you can imagine, so Dooner is fine.
I think you should change it to Nooner with Dooner, but that's just my 2 cents worth.
Do you want royalty? Do you want
have
royalty
always,
when I do that? Do you need like 10% or
no,
20%? Okay, good to know.
no, I'm rich in here, Dune. I'm rich
Oh,
in here. I don't need your
wonderful.
money. Your money's no good here.
Your money's
Um,
no good here.
but I want to say thank you. And you have always been nothing but a gentleman and a scholar, my friend. And I, from the very first time I met you, thought that you were just a gem of a human being, and that has not changed. And thank you for, during this COVID time, finding this kind of outlet, this avenue for musicians to hang out and to talk and to be together, because I think most of us are really, really missing each other.
Yeah, yeah. And Janet chimed in again here, says, and thanks also, besides your beautiful voice, Paula, thanks also for being a frontline worker and working in a healthcare system and taking care of us when we need the most during these COVID times here.
I don't personally feel like a frontline worker, even though I'm on the front lines. I'm kind of, part of that. I feel like the doctors and the nurses who are in the thick of things really should be getting all the kudos. But everybody needs to be getting kudos, because if it wasn't for the people serving our food, delivering our drinks, helping us, everybody right now, it's all about sharing and being together for everybody, and maybe just showing a little bit of appreciation where maybe you wouldn't have before. Perspective, it changes when you go through something like this. So hopefully everybody's perspective is a little more healthy and a little more positive, and they're thanking all the people in their lives that they should.
Yeah, you bet. There's a quote that I love. I don't know who says it first, but it says, we don't really see the world the way it is. We often see the world the way we are. And so as we understand that, so keep that in mind, let's be mindful of who we are as we look up to the world out there, because our perception becomes our reality, right? Now, Mr. Don Jones says again here, can't wait to have Paula get back on stage again, and with his clapping hands kind of emoji there. And so, like I said earlier, and I'll say it again, Paula, you are well loved in a community that we live in here, my friend. So you are well loved and much appreciated for your contribution to the music, in your strengths that you bring to the table, and your humanity and humility is very much appreciated. So I certainly enjoyed this conversation here. It's been an hour and a bit, and as we wrap up, I'm going to ask you to do one more thing for me. Are you ready to do one more thing, or are you done with it? Are you kind of...
I'm ready.
Ready. Okay, take another sip, and then... So the last thing that we like you to think about is tell us 3 words, completely independent words, that you want our viewers to think about as they think about this conversation that we just had here. What are 3 words that you would leave our viewers now and those who watch the replay? So completely independent words. They just...
You should have prepped me for this question, Daniel.
That's okay. We can
go. Okay. First word, kindness.
Kindness. That's a good word. That's a good word.
It's a good word, because this COVID can bring out the best and the worst in people, and it really doesn't take that much more effort to be kind, and just practice kindness. Everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. And when you're kind to someone, I swear to God, it comes back to you. So just be kind. So kindness is word number 1.
Yeah, and I'm going to actually spell it correctly as a bonus. I'm going to actually spell it correctly. How's that?
Way to go, Professor.
My finger.
Way to go.
My finger slipped. I was surfing the keyboard.
Okay, that's a lot. We call that having fat fingers or autocorrect. You just blame it on that shit. You just always blame. If you ever say anything out of character that gets you in trouble, you just blame autocorrect. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what my phone said.
There you go. Kindness. Wonderful.
Kindness. Second word, authenticity. It's really important to be authentic, because people will see through the bullshit. And you're really not fooling anybody but yourself. So
how do you
when
spell
I say to be authentic, You got it right.
I was referring to the other
Um,
two words that you were referring to. How do you spell bullshit? I just never written that down.
oh,
So kindness,
um,
authenticity. Yeah.
and perseverance, because not everybody is going to love you. Not everybody is going to be down with what you're putting down, and it's just about really just keeping on. Life happens. Sometimes there's a stick thrown in the wheel, and that's just how it is. And you learn from that. The hope is that you bounce back and you get back and you keep trying. So just to persevere and to, if you have a goal in mind, just keep trying despite the hardship, despite the difficulty. Just keep at it. I promise it will pay off.
You bet. Persevere. In other words, rock on, friends. Rock on, friends. Again, well, thank you so much,
Yes.
Paula, for joining us for the hour and a bit here and sharing of your music and your stories and your insights and really your journey with us. And I wish that, as you sort of get back from the post-COVID kind of a scenario here, that you get to enjoy your music to the fullest again. And now that you have secured a good university education and sort of have a good grounding and a great job there, that you're working to also now bring music into more of your kind of day-to-day activity, performing wise, and possibly one day recording wise as well. So best wish with all of that, my friend.
Thank you very much, and thank you to my friends who came on and took some time to hang out with us today. You're awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, thank you. And so with that, I'm going to say thanks to our viewers as well, from me to all of you who are watching now and later in the replay. And take good care of yourself, folks, and take good care of one another as well. And till we meet again, have a wonderful rest of your day, folks. So Paula, we'll see you in the green room again, where we'll finish that glass of yours there. But we'll say goodbye to our viewers now.
Bye, guys. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks.